What's going on, y'all? This your man Step, and welcome back to the Vibes with Step podcast. I hope y'all having a good day, good evening, good morning, good night. It's all the same, but I'm glad you're here. So what's the topic today? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I got my man Matt here with me again. If y'all didn't,
Hello.
yeah, there you go. So if y'all didn't hear episode 2, go listen. It was a nice conversation, and I liked it a lot. So today, I want to talk about infinity and eternity, because Matt brought it up in our last conversation, and since then I just been thinking about it, and it was actually something I wanted to make a point on, but I didn't think about it until after that podcast. We're gonna start with, let's start with, I guess, eternity. So,
Right.
what's your thoughts on eternity, Matt?
Uh, when you said we're going to be talking about that, I was like, man, how are we going to do a whole podcast talking about that? But let's just see. You never
We
know.
gotta wing it,
Um,
bro.
I mean, it's something I don't think about often, but when I do think about it, it's kind of like I was saying last time. It's so hard to wrap your head around it and comprehend it. I think it's kind of daunting. It's scary if because who knows what happens when we die, but like if we go to heaven or something, like if we do live eternally, like that's kind of a scary thought. There's something about the finality of death, that gives strong purpose to the life that you live here on earth. But if there's more after that and it just goes on forever, yeah, I don't know what it's going to be like, but it's kind of scary. But at the same time, it's not. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Yeah. I
What
mean,
do you think?
my thoughts on eternity, I'll make a point from God's point of view if I can. So eternity is much like infinity. It's an idea. I don't think is there a specific amount of time with eternity, because eternity means forever. But they have like
Yeah.
century and stuff like that.
Well, if that's even a thing, I don't think a century it exists within eternity. There's
Right.
not
You're right.
like
There's no
which
amount of
which
time.
makes you wonder like what it's
What
so weird.
classified? What classified? This is gonna be a crazy topic, y'all. So just strap in, because it's about to get real, real. So let's say that. Let's say there's no time involved with eternity, because it already means forever. So that means the laws of time go out the door. But let's say you're a god. Let's say you are God. You know how they say in some books and some movies, and like long ago, this God or that God slept for all eternity and finally woke up, or just sat around and waited for this moment to, you know, show itself or herself and this and that. You got to think how long that God or our God, just if they're conscious, if they're not sleeping, just think about how long eternity is for them to just sit around. As people, on average, we live, 80, 90 years. Some of us live longer than that.
Hmm.
40 years is a long time. Especially if you're
Yeah.
not if you're not living like you want to, and you just sit around and you think your life isn't going anywhere, and you're just getting older and older and older, and time is just going by, and you live a long life, but to what purpose? But imagine a God just sitting around for thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of years. And we complain about 40 years, even 2 years, 5 years. We wait for something to happen, and they
10
sit around
minutes
10 minutes.
going to the DMV.
Exactly, because our attention span
Oh,
is.
snap. I had to wait for an eternity at the DMV today. Ugh.
Oh man, I wish this 5-10 second ad would hurry up so I could finish this
Yeah.
video. It's like we complain so much about the little bit of time we have on this planet, and yet you got to think about how long God sits around waiting on certain things to just go by. How long dude, come on now. Thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of years of just waiting on something. You gotta
Well,
have
that's
a.
here's a thought about that.
What's up?
I Because if we do get to experience eternity, like how do we get to experience it? What like will there be a physicality to it? Because
Yeah.
if time isn't passing or time doesn't exist, then how does movement work? You know what I mean? And
Wow.
I really think that uh, time is just or trying to understand eternity. It's just a word for something that we don't have the sense to understand. Like imagine someone who was like born blind. Like imagine
Mm-hmm.
trying to explain what it's like to see to them.
Mm-hmm.
Or someone who was born deaf. Imagine trying to explain what it's like to hear something, you know, through sign language or whatever. Like it's not something you can explain if you haven't felt it yourself. And I think, I like I said, I don't think about it too much because it's just so beyond me that I don't even know how to begin to comprehend it. Like
Mm-hmm.
what are things going to look like?
Yeah.
How would we exist within eternity? I don't know. But I really think it's something that like we don't have the awareness to be able to comprehend it.
Yeah.
I think that it's like there are multiple dimensions that exist. I mean, someone told me that it's like scientifically proven that there are more dimensions than we're like aware of, that they've somehow mathematically proved it or something. I don't know. I'm probably speaking out of my butt, but we experience a few dimensions ourselves, like time passing and like dimensional space or spatial dimension, however you want to word it. Like we are aware of a certain amount, but that there's more that we can't comprehend. And that's where I think like the spiritual realm is, things like that. Things that we can't understand are just further dimensions that we don't have the capacity to like experience. Does that make sense?
To an extent, yeah. I want to make a point on the whole different dimension thing. I had a thought some time ago. I don't know how long it's been. Maybe a year, maybe 2 years. I don't know. It was a while. Imagine looking in a mirror and you
Mm-hmm.
put your hand up and your reflection does exactly what you do, but from a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
What if your mirror itself is actually you from another dimension, but neither you or that mirror version notices it or you even realizes it. You just see yourself as a mirrored version just doing the same exact thing, but what if that's a copy of you in another universe or in another dimension?
I mean, I kind of made a video game about that.
Did
Do you remember it? I
what
think that was the
game?
first. I think that was the first one of mine you played. He keeps me here.
Oh snap! Yeah, when he looked at, oh man,
It's the whole
dude,
point of that, and dude, we could do a whole conversation about this. Not about my game, but about the
yeah,
concept. But like the idea came from watching Supernatural, the show.
yeah,
It was something I would like kind of keep on in the background while I was working, and I took a break from working on the game because I didn't know where to go with it,
mm-hmm,
and I had an episode of Supernatural on in the background. It was about Bloody Mary, so there were like mirrors and stuff.
yeah,
And somewhere along the way, while I was watching it, I had the thought, "What if every mirror contained a world?" And bro, that just got me thinking. Like, that's a scary thought,
yeah,
to look at yourself in the mirror and to look into your own eyes and to just go, maybe, what if that is a sentient being and
yeah,
they're watching me and they perfectly mirror all of my movements, but they know that they are their own entity
yep.
and they are not me, and they are constantly thinking about me and watching me, and who knows what their intent is. But
Let's
yeah,
go.
that's kind of where that came from. But
Let's
yeah, go ahead.
go. Let's go a step further and say that mirrors are man-made.
Hmm.
So that connection of possibly being another self of you through a mirror. But imagine water reflections. That's the same thing. That's a mirror. So imagine
Hmm.
different worlds existing through water. You know what I'm saying? Or through
Mm.
a mirror or through just anything that could make a reflection of you. You look through a piece of metal and you can see like a blurred reflection of yourself.
Yeah.
Dude, different worlds, different possibilities, but to you it's just a reflection.
Yep.
Dude, that's crazy to me, bro. you
Yeah.
know, man. And you know, I wanna kind of switch over to the infinity for a second. For every action you take in life, that's a different what's the word? Every choice you
Creates
make in
another
life,
alternate reality.
exactly. So imagine you got two different choices. You either say yes or you say no. If you say yes, that's the life you live. If you say no, that's the life you live. It's scary to think that each decision, there's thousands of possibilities. Your life, millions of
Yeah.
things you could do throughout each day of your life.
Have you heard the theory that there's a dimension for every decision that you've ever made? I don't buy that. That's just
Wow,
like
that's
that's a little
crazy.
too out there
So it's
because then it's
basically
like,
everything you do, a dimension is created.
yeah, but then it's like, well, technically, if I say yes or I say no,
You could
well,
change
I
your
could also
mind.
wait 3 seconds longer to say yes, and then that would be a different dimension.
You're
So is
right.
there another dimension where I waited 15 seconds, 14.5 seconds? You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's just that's too, I don't know. Like, it's fun to think
It
about,
is
but
fun,
that's a
but
little out there for
it's
me.
so much to comprehend. Because think about it. Right now, I just picked my phone up. I put it down.
Mhm.
Now let's say I'm thinking about picking it up again, but I don't want to pick it up right now.
Well,
Now,
there's already a podcast between you and I where you never picked up your phone in the first
right,
place.
exactly. Or let's say there's a possibility that you picked your phone up, or you just turned off the Discord
Yeah, it was my
call.
idea.
Yeah, or maybe the Wi-Fi
This
cut
is
off.
the Vibes with Matt podcast, and you're my
Yeah,
guest.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm a guest. I'm the game maker. You're the YouTuber. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
those are the possibilities, the infiniteless possibilities. You know what I'm saying? I could be a completely different person. You know what I'm saying? Or a completely different skin color in a whole new universe. Same me, different
Hmm.
skin color or different, eye color, different voice.
Yeah.
You could be a female in a whole different universe. Same you,
Yeah.
just different man. Oh God, dude. That riles my brain. That kind of, it's crazy to think about just all the different lives that are hypothetically or theoretically created for every decision we make in life. And then my
Yeah.
thing is, once they're created, is there a way to you know, not create them or destroy it
Mm.
in a theoretical way?
Well, I mean, they would have to exist in the first place. Personally, I guess we're going hypothetical here.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Um,
the only way to do it, because we don't really know if it's true or not.
yeah.
So,
The thing is, like, to say that for every decision you make, there's an alternate dimension, but you could say that for every other person too, and
yeah.
every combination of every other person.
Yeah.
With billions of people, like, I that's an unfathomable number of different combinations of dimensions. And I don't know, I like to think of time as one linear timeline where we all exist and we all get our chance. And um yeah, things were always going to be that the way that they were, and when something happens, it was always going to happen.
That's a good point. The whole everything that happens is meant to happen.
Yeah.
As if it was already planned. Like you was
Hmm.
like think about trying to fool God or trying to fool the universe. You think that you
Yeah.
could stop yourself. Oh man, that's a deep point. You could stop yourself from doing what the universe and what God already knows you're gonna do. So you try to fool the system by not doing that next move. But that next move is exactly what was planned. So let's
Yeah.
say your plan no, the universe is playing. Your next move is to go outside and check the mail.
Hmm.
But you knew that already. Let's say you were told that from the divine. So you say, you know
Like,
what?
God told me to check the mail.
Exactly. And you say, you know what?
Matthew, check the mail.
Exactly. It's in your will. So it's like,
Okay, God.
so you say, you know what? I'm not gonna do that. That's
Yeah.
planned, dude.
Yeah.
That's the
Or I do check the mail and it's just a piece of paper that says psych. It's like, ah, you got me again, God.
Or what if or what if that wasn't the plan? What if it was just a fake out? You know, the whole making you check the mail thing, and like you said, finding a piece of paper and it's like, psych, didn't really want you to do that, but I made you think that was what I wanted you to do. So then,
Yeah.
it's like,
It's like when your child covers their eyes and they think you can't see them.
mm-hmm,
It's just like that type of thinking is like juvenile compared to like what a parent knows.
yeah,
It's like it's the knowledge that a child has access to is so small compared to what their parents know, and
yeah,
same with us and God. Like to to imagine like the our capacity to know anything by comparison, it's
mm-hmm,
just it's so trivial, I
yeah.
guess I would say.
You have you seen Endgame?
Like the
Avengers
Avengers
Endgame? Yeah,
Endgame. Yeah.
dude, that movie made me cry.
Same, dude.
Dude, I didn't expect that, but it made me cry so hard, bro.
Are you talking
Uh,
about with Cap? I won't spoil it, but the part with Captain America.
no, with Tony Stark.
Oh yeah, well, I guess I cried multiple times in
I
that
mean, with
movie.
Captain America, that was kind of sad, but dude, man, I'm thinking about what Doctor Strange was saying about the many possibilities of how the whole situation could go down, and there was
Hmm.
only one choice Tony Stark could make to save everybody. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? And you just got to think about
that's
that.
cool. Yeah.
You got to think about that number, yo, like millions of
But see,
possibilities.
even in that case, it was only like one outcome though, right?
Yeah,
Because he was looking forward to the possibilities, but only
yeah,
one could be picked. Which, by the
yeah.
way, I gotta say, like, I enjoyed going and seeing Marvel movies, but I was
Hmm.
never like crazy about them. I was never like, oh man, I gotta go see the new
I
Avengers movie or
was.
whatever.
I love
Okay,
Marvel
okay,
movies.
but hold on.
What's up?
When Infinity War came out, my buddy was like, "Dude, we got to go see this." I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll go see it." Um, I was so blown away. Like, I could not believe how good that movie was. Like, I walked out of the theater like kind of shaken, like
Yeah.
not sure how to feel, and I was like, I did not expect that from a Marvel movie, and I was like, "Whoa." I felt like they had like ascended to the next level of like movie making where the previous movies were all like shiny and clean and like
Mm-hmm.
um you know very kid friendly, but like a nice balance between kids and adults. But that movie was like heavy, and then
Yeah.
Endgame, same thing, and they were both by the Russo brothers, who I'm a big fan of them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They did a lot of work in Community. Have you watched the show Community?
No, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. You did recommend that to me.
Okay.
I couldn't get past the first episode. It's just for some,
Really?
it's not the show for me, yo. I don't
Fair
know what it
enough.
is about it, but dude, I tried to get into it. I was just like, I can't, bro. I can't.
It's one of those shows that you really have to watch a whole season
Yeah.
to get it,
Yeah.
because it's so different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it really takes off after the first season and kind of enters like like the conversations we're at where we get into like really theoretical stuff.
Yeah.
It's like a community college where like the craziest things happen that
Mm-hmm.
would never happen in reality, but that's why it's fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I get it. It's not a show for everybody, but for those who do like it, it's something special.
Well, y'all heard it from the man. Check out Community if
Yeah,
if you want, if you're curious. But I want to go back to Eternity for a second. So
sure.
you you brought up certain points about when we're dead, how will we spend eternity? And you got to think about it, people. That's forever. So whatever you think you're going to do for the next 30, 40 years in your life, make it count, because you're going to be dead forever. So imagine being dead. And I'm open-minded. Listen, I know what I believe in, but I'm open-minded to the possibilities of life being different from what I think is going to happen. I'm not a fan of people who think they know what's gonna
Yep.
happen. They
Same.
know for a fact what's gonna happen after. Like, you live the life already, and you just know. Nobody
Yeah.
knows until they're gone. You know what I'm saying? But
Dude, I have a
imagine,
sailing. Oh, sorry. I'll wait. I'll wait.
No, I'm what were you gonna say?
I have a you almost said it. I have a saying that I like to say, and it's no one will ever truly know anything until they're dead, and even then they may know nothing at all.
Oh
And
wow,
it's
damn.
because people like to pretend. You know, we talked about this on the last podcast. Like,
Yeah,
there's know-it-alls out there who like to act like they have the
yeah,
answers, or they know God doesn't exist, or they know God does
yeah.
exist, and it's like I don't, I
We
have my
don't.
beliefs that I cling
Yeah,
to, but I can't tell anyone with absolute certainty that I know this or that because I'm a little speck in the universe, you
yeah,
know. But yeah, like, you know, once you die, if there's life after this one, you're gonna know, or you're not gonna know anything.
yep.
So,
I agree.
but until then, don't tell me that you know for a fact because you don't.
Exactly. Nobody knows. You know what I'm saying? But back to my point. Imagine if we're dead and there's nothing after that. You know, I've heard that idea of there's just, people swear to God that, hey, dude, when you die, there's no heaven or hell. When you die, that's it, man. Lights out. My thing is, one, you don't know, but two, how would that work? I mean, people relate it to when before you're born, you don't remember anything at that point. You remember a certain point when when you're growing up as a kid. You don't remember when you were born or even before that. So you didn't exist. But my thing is, like, how do we know nothing was happening before we were born? Just because we weren't thinking about it, we don't know. But afterlife, nobody knows, bro. I mean, it's. I wouldn't say it's scary for me to think about it just being lights out, like a dream. Cause, dude, imagine eternity of just sleeping. When you sleep, you wake
You
up
won't
at a
even know.
exactly. You wake up at a certain time. You have your dream. So what are people saying? We're gonna be dreaming. So that means we still exist. You know what
No,
I'm
I
saying?
think it's like, I mean, you're asking how, what would that even mean? I It has to do, I think, everything with consciousness. It's like, I think most people who believe that there's nothing after we die, it's like your consciousness is just snuffed out like a candle, and there's no thoughts, there's no anything, there's no thinking, no memories, just psh, lights out, you're gone.
I don't believe
Um,
that. I think
yeah, I
people
don't
who
either.
I think people who believe that or force themselves to believe that, I think they're scared. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I think that's what it is. They everybody believes in something. Even when
Mhm.
you don't believe in anything, you believe in something. You
Even
know,
believing there's nothing after we die, it's still a
that's
belief.
believing something. Yeah, so I'm gonna play I'm gonna play devil's advocate and believe in nothing. Let's say there is nothing, after we die. What happens then with me? Am I
Um,
am I still a do I exist in some way?
no.
Because
Well, I mean, technically, your body, as it dissolves into
yeah,
the dirt, or if it's ashes and blows off into the wind or whatever, but that'll dissolve and be absorbed back into the earth and
it's something
become
I
nutrients for more life.
it's something you just can't explain. It's one of those things that we talked about, something that humans just can't comprehend or think about. We can imagine it, but we don't know exactly what that would mean for us if we died and we don't, and it's just black, lights out. I think
Yeah.
even if that was the case, I think in some way, shape, or form or energy, we would be alive. You know,
Mm.
some people say, "Hey, you die, and you have another life." So that basically means you live eternity. Going back to that point, so you constantly die and you come back as somebody else or something. So that means
Mhm.
you could live 60 years as a person. You die, then you come back as a butterfly, get eaten, and then you die again and come right back moments later as a fish. You die again and you come back as another person and you live another life. So technically, you are eternally living.
Yeah, that's reincarnation.
Yeah,
And I guess it comes down to what do you believe about consciousness? Do you think that and I'm not saying you, Steph, I'm
yeah.
saying you, anybody, like what is consciousness? Is it a because it's obviously not physical, it's totally intangible.
Mm-hmm.
it's, I mean, how do you even explain consciousness in a way that makes sense? It's so weird. It's like knowing that you're alive and being able to communicate and having thoughts and memories, and it's such a bizarre thing that is like so different from like the physical world that we see around us. It seems to me like such an anomaly, like consciousness. It's like you can't really quantify it. Because it's we don't know where it comes from, where it goes, if it's temporary, if it's eternal. I personally think that consciousness is an eternal thing. That when you come into existence, like your consciousness exists forever in some form, and that when it leaves your body, it goes somewhere else. Where? Heaven, maybe. I don't know. I believe in heaven, but like, yeah, some people believe you're reincarnated. That would technically be an eternal conscience,
Yeah.
or
Mm-hmm.
conscious, excuse me.
Yeah.
I guess until humanity ends, and then if like life on Earth ceases to exist, what happens to those consciousnesses? Like, I don't know. It's a never-ending thing that you can't really. It's all theoretical as far as I'm concerned. So I don't know. It's fascinating stuff though, and it's fun to think about.
Yeah, it is. Okay, I want to make a point. Let's talk about,
Sure.
I mean, the same thing, reincarnation. So, let's say you die and you come back. What laws of life dictates that we are even tied to Earth? Because that's what people. And I'm gonna make another point after this about your
Like
point
coming
on.
back as an alien.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna make a point on that. I want to make another point about energy too. So reincarnation. People think, or some people think, the people who believe in reincarnation, they think that we have another life on Earth. But who's to say we won't come back as another species in another universe?
It's a fair
Or,
point.
you know, it's like you
Yeah.
can't. It's so easy to. That's why I say, or that's why we can agree that humans aren't meant to comprehend the
Mm-hmm.
next level of thinking. It's just
Right.
impossible if because we tie everything to what we know as humans, our physical capabilities, our mindsets. We can only think so far. We think that life can't survive unless it has what we need. And from what we understand, Earth, as far as we know, is the only habitable planet with life on it. So
Mm-hmm.
technically, aliens don't exist to people, which is bullshit. Because the unseen is out there and you don't know what's out there. It could be a whole different Earth with a species just like us, if not more advanced or dumber. We don't know.
Yeah.
So who's to say we won't come back as one of those people on that other Earth, or we come back as a speck of sand on Venus or something like that can actually live? It's like some kind of organism we don't know about yet.
Yeah.
Or what if you come back as a star? Stars are
Well,
living
well,
things.
hold on. You just opened a new can of worms. What if sand, every grain of sand has consciousness?
Dude, how about this? That's deep. But what if rocks? I asked somebody this as a joke, but I'm dead serious about it. What if rocks are actually soft until you step on them?
Yeah,
Real talk. Or until
that's a
you touch
great
them,
thought.
you know? But back to
That's
your
like
point on
the
the. What were you
yeah.
saying?
Go ahead. I was gonna say that's like the thing if like a tree falls over in the
Is
woods and
somebody.
no one's around to hear it,
Yeah.
does it make a sound?
Yeah. Oh, man. But yeah, back to your point on the speck of sand thing. I mean, it's possible, yo. We don't really know how certain things work.
Yeah.
We just go based on our understanding of science and math. But on the spiritual level, we don't know. Everything could be alive as far as we understand, and it could just live in a certain way. So
Yeah. I mean, it'd suck if you came back as a fart.
yeah, oh man, that'd suck. You get
That'd be
one
that'd be a short
chance.
life. Yeah.
You get one chance to make a difference in a room. And if oh man. Okay, so energy. So you say consciousness is energy. I like that. So let's go ahead and say that energy is recyclable. It's just reusable forever and ever, all eternity. So technically, the life thing could be true if energy is conscious. So that means our conscious is forever living. So that means when you die, your conscious is thrown out to the universe to be recycled and born again. So you come back as a whole nother person or thing. So you're forever living through the system of the universe because your energy, and energy is neither created nor destroyed. So how does that work? If energy is
Well,
neither created nor destroyed, that means it
in that
existed
case,
somewhere.
yeah. Well, I think first of all, there's a lot of people who think that
So that means we
we
were
are all,
already existing as a conscience before we even knew it.
yeah. Well, some people think that we are all like one collective energy, um, which
Okay.
if that was the case where you die and your energy just goes back out into the universe, it would absorb and manifest in some other way.
Yeah.
Um, I don't personally believe that, but that's a popular belief I'm hearing more about.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the whole uh, conscious is energy thing. I mean, I believe we have a spirit, and a soul, and
Well, it
that
takes away the individuality of a person if we're all one collective consciousness, and that when you die you just manifest through someone else. Like, that totally takes away your individuality, like you as a person. And then it's like, well, you never really existed. You were just like one manifestation of a
you
single existence.
you were a part of this machine, and
Yeah.
imagine how scary that'd be for society if we found that out, and it was true. We're a part of this universe,
I think
but
it'd be chaos, dude.
it
I think
would.
the world would just go into complete anarchy.
And that'll just be for our universe. You got to think about, like we were talking about, different, infinite possibilities, different universes, time zones, and dimensions and shit like that. That's just for our universe, hypothetically speaking. So imagine if society just found out that, all across the world, that each of us really doesn't matter individually. You know what I'm saying? We're just all a part of this collective, like Matt said, just part of this collective, system that we feed it. We die and we come back as this renewable energy and tied to a conscience, yeah, but that conscience doesn't mean much as a an individual thing. It's just a system split up into billions of different energy who are created or is created in a form of life.
Mhm.
And that sucks if that
Yeah,
was
it's
ever true.
sad.
You
Takes away
know,
purpose.
yeah, we some of us, man, I'm pretty sure a lot of us, we think we're unique. As people, we have our own personalities and our own thought process and our own pains and love, interests, and connections in life, and we pray to different gods, and we believe in different religions. But imagine if none of that mattered and you were just existing, you
Yep.
know
That would undermine everything that you've lived for.
And at that point, we would have no choice but to come together, and either that or we destroy each other.
I think that's more likely, honestly.
Yeah,
Because, like, if it was somehow able to be proven beyond the shadow of a doubt that we are all one collective existence, one entity, and that, you know, like, I mean, think about what that entails. That would mean that, we have made amazing choices, but we've also made terrible choices. That would mean that both Jesus and Hitler were the same entity. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yep.
It's like, and I think realizing that you had the capacity to do all of that, I don't think most people could handle that, and I think society would just tumble into oblivion. Because it's like, well, I guess I don't actually exist, so what's the point in pretending that I do? I'm just gonna do whatever this version of me feels like doing. I'm gonna just do whatever I want.
I think that
Yeah.
would I think that would prove a lot of people right in terms of no no purpose. You know,
Hmm.
depression would skyrocket, of course. It's already
Yeah.
bad, but that would be a whole lot worse across the
Hmm.
board. It'd be not existing but existing. Damn. That one line right there. You exist but you don't.
Yeah.
You you could that first off, that'll throw out religion. Hands down. Religion
Hmm.
doesn't exist at that point. But do you think okay, I got a question for you. Do you think that even let's say God just hey, you guys really don't matter, you know, you just energy, I'm using you, you know what I'm saying? So do with that information you will. Do you think people would still believe in religion? Even if they knew the
Well, of
truth.
course. Well, but
That
that's
would
the
defeat the
problem is
purpose.
knowing. How do you know? Like even if it was like somehow provable and proven, there would still be people who would reject it and say no, it's not true, you know.
And that makes a good point with society today. You can know the
Yeah.
truth right in front of you and you still won't believe it because denial is
Mhm.
a serious issue. So even knowing the truth about everything, even if the one God who oversees everything told you itself, everybody at the same time just got that one message. You don't matter. I guarantee a lot of the world still wouldn't care and they'll
Yeah.
still live life, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to be honest with you. I think even if I knew that, I would probably still live my life. I would.
So would I.
I would still just do my thing and believe what I believe and just be at peace with myself and enjoy it for what it is. Even though I know there's a possibility I'll probably come back as something else, I'll still live my life.
Yeah.
Cause what you gonna do? You gonna kill yourself? What you gonna go kill somebody else because you're mad about it? What you just gonna sit around and not care? It's still a
Mhm.
life.
Yep.
You gotta do what you will with it, regardless of the truth. So it's kind of like knowing there's a possibility, you know, you're gonna die. Like say you I can't really speak for war, but I'm gonna speak for it. There's a big chance you're gonna die, but you still go fight. Even
Mhm.
with that high possibility you'll die, you still fight because you believe in something.
Yeah.
And that's life right there. We gotta keep fighting,
And
even though there's a chance we'll go.
even yeah, and just like if you do die fighting for something, it was worth it to give your life for that cause, whatever it is, you know.
Right, right.
Even if it's just being yourself and living your life. Yeah, if I found out that, and it was like I keep saying this, somehow provable, because I don't know how you would prove it, but somehow provable that we are all one collective consciousness and there's no true individuality and I'm not really me, I'm just part of one thing. um, I think I would initially reject it. Like by default I would have a problem accepting that, but if
Mm-hmm.
it was somehow possible to convince me that that were true, I would really have to go sit and reflect, take a lot of time to think about my life, because that, I mean, that would turn your life literally upside down.
Yeah.
You would have to rethink and relearn everything, um, because so much of what you would have believed and accepted up until that point would be wrong, and you'd have to find a way to reconcile that and be okay with it. And you know, what do you do with that information? Like, does that change anything about your life? I mean, I think it does. Um, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people, people like you and I think we both have a really strong sense of purpose. We both, have something that we're doing with our lives that we believe in, that we're passionate about. Um, and I think it'd be hard to let go of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's a lot of people who are just kind of on autopilot who would probably just want to party, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like, well, if we're all one consciousness, let's celebrate, let's
Yeah.
let's just party for the rest of our life. And you know I don't know, it's weird to think about. You could make a movie about that.
No, you really could. I mean, I had a point to make, but I forgot it. I think that's my point. I'm glad I just remembered it. So let's say we all part of this big system, and you know I can't wait to listen to this. I can't wait for the people to listen to this because this is gonna be one for the books. I'm gonna tell you that straight up. This is a nice conversation because it's an eye
Yeah.
opener about life. I think, especially if you're an open minded person, and that's what I respect about you and me. We just two people talking about things that we don't know to be true or not, but we're open to the possibility of it being a thing.
Yeah.
But
I
let's
think
go
that's
back.
important.
It is important. I think it's important for the world to be able to do things like this. But
Hmm.
let's go to this being a one collective kind of thing. So let's say we are part of this one machine we call the universe. Let's say God is pulling the strings of everybody at the same time. Wouldn't that mean that we would have to do the same thing? We're programmed to do the same thing. You know how much energy and power you have to have as a God to not only control all of us and everything that's going on in this world. Follow me, people. You know how much power you got to have to control every single thing in one motion. But we all have our own conscience. We all do different things at different times. We sleep, we eat, we fight, we kill, we steal, we rob, we have sex, we marry, we do everything 24 hours a day, 365 days a year for on average 80, 90, 100 years. That's power right there. But don't you think that if we were a part of a collective, a part of this one big machine, we would be programmed to have one mission all at once, like a fleet of robots. They're programmed to do one thing, but they're controlled by one thing.
Well, I think it could go a couple ways. If it was like you're saying, where there's God or a God that is this energy and manifests into these individuals. Well, first of all, I think that would just be like the illusion of free will, and we would really
Oh
just be
man,
like
here we
thinking
go.
thinking we're doing things, but in reality we're just doing whatever we were going to do anyway, kind of
Yeah,
like what we were talking about earlier.
yeah,
Or there's also the other option that it's just pure chaos, where that energy is not self-governed and it's just something that exists, and we really do have our own like individual spin on that energy. But there's the only order to it is the order that we make of it,
right.
which is probably closer to what people actually believe, who believe that we're one collective consciousness. But um, and maybe even like believing in God, there's still some truth to that there's, I don't know, that we're all connected in some strange way. But I don't know, man.
Hey man, dude,
All of this
this
stuff is so far over my head.
it is. It's a pretty. I mean, dude, we're 45 minutes in. We're doing a good job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But infinity, eternity, energy, the universe. It's all it's all one big convoluted experience life is. You know what I'm saying? There's this it's a beauty of it. It's to think, and I'm gonna make another point, to think that on average, well actually majority of this world, if not majority of this world, we'll never see the truth of it all. We'll never see past this planet. Some of us won't even see another country, and we'll just die where we are. And to think that there's, I'm gonna pick three possibilities. You either go to heaven or hell, die and black out, and that's it, or you're renewed and you come back as something else. Something to think about, people.
Yeah.
And that's just three possibilities. See, that's the thing. We're only thinking limited, and we're meant to only think so limited. We don't know the other possibilities of what could happen after death. You know what I'm saying? We don't really know what's worse than lights out and that's it. There's always something worse than that, but we can't think of it. You know, so
Maybe there's some great cosmic entity floating out in space that eats our souls when we die.
I'm gonna take it a step further. What if God has a God?
Whoa. Like Godception?
Exactly. And that God has a God. Dude, man, that y'all not ready for that
Mirrors.
conversation. Mirrors, you
Mirrors.
know what I'm saying? What if God looks in the mirror?
Does
What
God
does
have a
God
mirror?
see? Yeah, what does God see
Oh
if he looks
no.
in the mirror, bro? Oh
Another
man.
dimension with
Oh
another
my
version of God.
God. Oh, another God. Oh my God, bro. Man. See, I don't think the world is ready for this conversation, Matt, but we're having it. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
dude.
Well, that's again, that's another thing that's I think important to point out is we're quick to humanize God and
Yeah.
try and pull him into our understanding of how things are. It's like to say, well, what if God has a mirror? Well, mirrors are a human thing,
Yeah.
Like it's
Well,
like
nope, 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 nope. It's not because you got to think about water reflection. That's a mirror,
yeah.
and that's natural.
Yeah, but maybe
I mean, the
God is
definition of
totally intangible so that,
ah,
mirrors and water are a tangible
okay,
physical thing.
okay,
You know what I mean?
okay. I see you,
It gets deeper and deeper, man. We're
dude. That hole
we're
we're
up to our
in.
neck by this point, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I think. I mean, hey, man, close to an hour, like 13 minutes. I think we could stretch this a little bit further. You know what
Oh,
I'm saying?
oh yeah.
I think so.
How
So
how deep how deep can we go with this stuff?
let's see how broad our minds are. You know what I'm saying? If we're part of this renewable energy conscience thing. So let's say, ooh, I got one. Let's say you come back as a bird. Do you think the way you thought when you were a human?
Oh, I don't think so.
Dude, come on, bro.
Because
Give me this
someone,
conversation. Give me this conversation.
I've heard of people saying that they were reincarnated and they remember their past life.
But they only said because they thought they were a person. They never say anything about being an animal. I never heard somebody say anything about being an animal. It was
I
always
don't know if
somebody
I've
else.
heard someone talking about being an animal, but I'm sure somebody has said that.
But my thing
But
is, no,
all
you.
that to say, yeah, all that to say, if you reincarnated as a bird, I think you would think like a bird.
But
I
how
don't
does a
think you
bird
would,
think though? We don't know. We just go based on
just
what
a
we
bunch of
experience.
impulses, man.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
I
what
don't.
it. That's what's said. But really though, do we really? Does somebody really know what a bird thinks? Like it's like
No.
dogs. Nobody knows. We just go
Yeah.
based on how they act with us. We go based on science and all this stuff, but we don't know.
Yeah.
So what if you do come back as a bird and you just have this sense of self of being who you were in the past, but you're a bird now. So of course your instincts are telling you to be a
Be a really
bird.
smart bird.
Yeah, a real smart bird. I mean, you can't be a human, but you can be a smart bird. You know.
Hmm.
So what then? How like what do you do other than be a bird? Because that means you would have to have the instincts right out the gate from
Hmm.
baby to adult bird, much like being a
Hmm.
human. So it comes natural.
Right.
Huh. Wow.
Well, it's like when you see a baby calf born from a cow, like they literally get up and like
Yeah.
run around.
Mm-hmm.
It's
But
like, how
how
do they
does
know
that
to
work?
do that?
So yeah, how does knowledge work and instincts work to just get up and go? We don't know the DNA behind it, the science behind, and I'm talking about the spiritual science behind. Like Matt said, a cow just getting up and running away. You
Yeah, where
know,
do instincts come from?
yeah. Like a baby lion is trained to pounce or something like that just off instinct. It learns. I mean, yeah, they learn as they see, but I'm saying it's deeper than that. It
Yeah.
has to be. You don't just,
Purpose.
yeah, it's purpose.
Instincts come from purpose,
But
Steph.
where does purpose come from?
Okay, there's that extra layer of
That's that
depth
extra
for
layer
us.
right there. That's it.
Where
Okay.
does purpose come from?
All right. That's it. Purpose.
You know
So if
what?
we
Maybe purpose is the collective energy that manifests within all of us, but we all are separate individual souls that are linked through a common purpose, but it takes on an individual nature with each of us.
Huh.
Maybe purpose is energy.
Huh. But that means we would have to have a mission. But purpose. Interesting. Interesting. I like this. I like this. Okay, purpose. So that it said that hey, we all have a purpose from God. You live your purpose, and we don't. Well, at least some of us die before we know our purpose. How is it that you find your purpose? Is it? I mean, everything is pretty much as is. It just happens, divine intervention and shit like that. You just find out things. But how do you know your purpose?
Yeah, that's. I mean, I think it's totally different with each person, but um, for starters, I think you need to be looking. I think there's people who aren't interested in having purpose and they have a routine that they just kind of get stuck in, and maybe they're content doing that, and maybe they don't feel the need to do anything else, and they just kind of live on a loop. Um, but I really think purpose is something to be sought out. For me, like I feel like my purpose is telling stories through video games, and um, I've been doing it since I was a kid, and for me, it was looking inward and going, what's the thing that I've always loved to do, that I've done my whole life, that no matter what job I've ever had, I've always done this at the same time on the side, you know.
Yeah.
And there was a time where it was music, playing instruments, doing whatever. But even amidst all of that, I was still working on games. And for me, it was literally as simple as just, you know, what do I really love to do? What do I really want to do? I think most people know deep down what they want to do. A lot of people, probably don't take it seriously. I didn't. I kind of viewed making video games as just like a hobby. Um, when I was a kid, it wasn't really a big thing. It was like, using RPG Maker, which was like a program you could download as a kid. And it wasn't like the indie game community that we have now. So I just kind of viewed it as a hobby, but it wasn't until I was like, you know what? I really love to make games. I've done it for most of my life. Why don't I just do that? And bro, I've never been happier. It's like the most fun I've ever had.
That's what it's
So
about.
that's how it's been for me, but it's not going to be the same for everybody, but if I gave a blanket statement, short version, how do you find your purpose? Like, what do you love to do? What's the thing that makes you feel whole when you're doing it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Find that thing, focus on it, make it your life.
That is. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, we got 5 minutes to clear. I wanna let's switch the subject up. We're gonna go. Let's talk about beers. Let's go ahead and just switch it up and talk about beers. You know what I'm saying, Matt?
Great way to round it off.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up for the last 5 minutes and talk about beers. Matt, you got your beer, right?
Yeah.
I got mine too. I shaved it down though, cause I had to even it out. So I started growing my beard for the first time back in 2019.
Me too. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. It's
No joke.
Dude, like I like a clean face. I was thinking about going to a goatee, but it's one of those things where I'm at a point in life where I like a beard. You know what I'm saying? I see guys with beards, and I'm just like, that's a nice beard. I respect a good beard on a man. You know what I'm saying?
Same.
It's something about it. When you keep it
I
right.
think that's an instinct right there.
Hey, it might be an
Respect
instinct.
the beard.
Yeah. Jesus. Oh man, but dude, I like a good beard. I like to just take care of mine and make sure, I mean, sometimes when it gets a little bit long, I'll shave it. I'll either shave it off or I'll just shave it down. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I remember at one point I used to hate facial hair. You know what I'm saying? I used to kind of keep the chin hair and the mustache, and I'll like shave the rest off. But nah, I kind of hate that. I don't like the rough feel, you know, when it grows back now. You know what I'm saying? I like to just already have the facial hair on my
Yeah.
face, you know?
I am the opposite. I always hated shaving.
Wow.
I was kind of like a lazy shaver, so it was like I usually had scruff for
Yeah.
probably most of my life. At first, it was the
Uh-oh, I think Matt cut out. Matt.
what?
Oh, I thought you cut out. You stopped talking.
Oh, my mic must have cut off. What was the last thing I said?
You said you had scruff, and then you just
Yeah,
kind of
I
disappeared.
I always I always had scruff, and then like for a while I did a goatee because that was like the first thing I could grow.
Mm-hmm.
But then I remember for the longest time I didn't feel like I could grow a beard because I was like, no, it's too patchy.
Yeah.
But then I had a buddy who had an epic beard, and he's like, no, bro, I used to think the same thing. You just got to let it grow out and then trim it up,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have a beard. And so I did it, and he was right, and I just kind of stuck with that and never looked back. And I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever go back to not having a beard.
Yeah. I think about it. I'll be like, because at this point, I'm tired of shaving it down. I'm tired of dealing with the, bushiness of it. I like my beard, but I don't know. I might want to go back to a clean face. You know, my dad, he can't grow a beard, and he don't like that. You know, sometimes he'll look at my facial hair and be like, man, I wish I could grow a beard like that. You know, because he can grow like chin hair, he can grow a mustache, but the rest of it is like patchy. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll try to keep his face shaved. He mainly keeps a goatee. And it's a good looking goatee. I give him that. You know, and I used to at one point think, man, I wish I could only just have chin hair and a nice, nice tight mustache. But you gotta appreciate having a full beard at times. You know, not everybody can have it, but you appreciate what you got. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah. To all my beard guys out there, more power to y'all. And just keep that beard right. Because somebody out there likes it. You know what I'm saying? So just, yeah, I'm just
It's
feeling.
also a great way to hide if you have a really small chin.
Yeah.
Like my chin just kind of fades into my neck, so
Yeah.
a nice beard covers that up.
Yeah.
Makes me look like I actually have a chin.
Yeah. I think with my beard, like, when I shaved it down, I noticed how small my face was. And I was like, oh, God, I wish I wouldn't have did that. But,
Yeah.
I think another thing I don't like about having the beard is just, drinking something and it just spills on it, or food and stuff like that. God, I hate it. I hate it so much.
Yeah. Or when your mustache gets a little too long, and
Yeah.
anytime you eat something, it's
Mm-hmm.
always getting in there. Yeah.
Yeah. I know lately, my mustache is getting thick, but lately, if I'm laying down or something like that, I'll lay on my right side, and for some reason, my right side is a little bit bushier than my left side. And so that all that hair on my mustache on the right side would just press up in my nose, and it'll just annoy me. I'm like, God, man.
See, my beard gets lopsided because I sleep on my side, so it's
Yeah.
always like pushed one direction from a pillow.
Yeah. Oh man. All right, people. I think that's it. We just hit an hour. Hey, Matt, congrats, bro. We did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We managed to fit 55 minutes of like some of the deepest stuff I ever heard.
That's fun.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I'm tired because of that. It was just so.
Yeah, I could take a nap.
It was so much, dude. But hey, people. Y'all heard it here. I don't even know what to ask y'all, but just drop y'all opinions on the topic. You know what I'm saying? What do you think the point of life is? Where do you think conscience comes from? What do you think this? Do you think there's a collective energy? Do you think we all serve one purpose and we're just different? Different energies all in one. Who knows? Drop your opinions in the comment section. Matt, I want to thank you, my brother, for coming around again and just sharing this sharing this experience with me. It's always good. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
thank you,
Always a
man.
great time.
Yeah, man. I'm most definitely gonna have him on again, y'all. So be ready for more deep conversations sometime in the future. I don't know what we're gonna talk about, but we'll see. So hope y'all had a good time. Expect the next podcast somewhat soon, and y'all have a good night or day.